what is your view on the current trends in sustainability in the fashion industry?
So first of all, Julia, thanks very much for inviting me. I believe so much in synergy and, to try to share information as much as possible. So great for me to be here today with you. And talking about, the trends. I think for me, the key trends at the moment that has really evolved in the last 5 years, are three, generally speaking. The first is transparency, because nothing, I think, can be sustainable if you do not know everything about it. So the transparency and traceability for me is one of the key questions and the first answer to give to the market and to the consumer. The second one has to be, what we call the three-dimensional approach, meaning that everything that we do in sustainable fashion has to be beautiful, has to be innovative, and has to be responsible. And these three things has to be there at the same time as part of a single product. No way, to be sustainable if the garment does not meet the requirements of aesthetics and performance for, the kind of garments that you create. So this is, for me, the second part. The third part is about communication, because, people think it's easy, to communicate, about sustainability. But honestly, what is happening at the moment is that the communication is not clear at all. There is a lot of generic communication like, okay, I'm doing eco-friendly things, I'm doing an outfit that is saving 10% of water, but what does it mean? Who can stand in front of these mentions about these, let's say, numbers, about these announcements? We need third-party voice, third-party measurement that are going to tell consumer what is really in front of them. Doesn't matter if it's the best, the worst, but just to be, we go back to transparency. If you are talking about values in sustainability, they need to be true.
Okay. So you mentioned the consumer, and I agree with you. I think consumers play an important role in driving that change. Still, I observe from my own research that many companies struggle in defining their path towards sustainability, in generating transparency, etc. From your point of view, why is it so difficult for those firms to attain those goals and to follow the trends?
Honestly, I think at the moment the main problem is that people think to become sustainable like it's sort of magic, where suddenly you can do things in a different way and everything is going to change. But without a strategy, nothing is going to be a real change, because strategy allows you to understand how you operate and get it better and make some steps and to do it in a structured way. This is, to me, the journey of sustainability. A lot of the companies at the moment are just trying to be sustainable, but without a vision about it. And so sometimes they do an ingredient, sometimes it's about ethics, but there is not a real, let's say, plan to make something easy, simple, and true to, to deliver to the consumer. That's why I was saying that one of the let's say, weakness at the moment is that there is a lot of communication about sustainability, but what is true, I'm not sure which is the percentage, Julia. And consumer knows, because consumer understood that this is a trend, and this is not a trend, this is a really change, because we are delivering something more instead of the past, where we were delivering beautiful style and innovation. Today we are delivering on top of the style, on top of the innovation, also the responsibility. But you need to be clear about what responsibility is and prove it.
Thank you very much, Giusy. So you yourself founded CLASS with the idea to assist the fashion industry to become more sustainable. So can you tell us exactly what your mission is and what you're trying to do there?
I started CLASS in 2007 in Milan, and the first idea, very simple, was, if we want to have a sexy fashion, you have to have sexy ingredients, And in 2007, when you were talking about sustainable material, people were saying, okay, it's not good looking, it's not performing, and it's very expensive. And this is impossible, So our first objective was to show that ingredients were there and ingredients were really much more than in the past. And so starting from, okay, the innovation is there and you can make something more because again, without the technology, it's very difficult to get something sustainable out. So we started to say that we wanted to innovate in a responsible way. And then we understood that we had to be much more than that and to be a sort of support for people, to get a new way to do business, basically, because it is a business. It's a great one because it's responsible, it's ethical, but at the same time, we understood that smart innovation, responsible innovation was not enough because we had to fulfill the circular economy approach. Because, that the 5 pillars of circular economy are design, smart innovation, cooperation, communication, and new business model. We need to fulfill all these 5 things, but in a very, let's say, easy way, because a lot of people, especially in the market, because consumer is much more aware of all these values, but for the market, it was really difficult at the beginning to understand that these were value proposition for the business and were not just, something you were obliged to in order to get a sort of stamp to make a product. So at this point, we said, okay, we need to, support designers, support, people that is doing materials, all the supply chain in order to be able for this supply chain to go to the consumer and give the real values. Because at the moment, if someone wants to buy something sustainable, you will see information that are not enough for a consumer to make a conscious choice. And this means that you are not activating the value of a new business, because you can produce in a good way, but if your value when you communicate it are not aligned, you're going to be maybe just expensive sometimes. So it's really, for class at the moment, the ratio is really, first of all, to be, to try to support them in all the circular economy approach with a focus on 2 areas. The first one is development, because without development in the supply chain, very difficult to get something good. But at the same time, also to take this value and communicate in an appropriate way to the consumer. And in 2 words, for us is we need to have a great storytelling that needs to match with the story making. Because without story making, it's just greenwashing.
Wow. Thank you very much, Giusy, for sharing this. That was very interesting. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Giulia.